Hi, everybody. Welcome to WCA Extra. It's our live desk streaming show. We're actually been in Calvin Cutler today, so this is kind of a loaded one. But let's get right into it. First, Calvin, thanks for being here and pulling over at that too.
I appreciate it. On the way to the State House, so
Yeah.
glad I could pull over in beautiful Waterbury and hop on the show. Thanks, John.
Gotcha. And actually, that kind of plays into what we're talking about today. We're talking about the Diverging Diamond Interchange Project. It's been in the works for a while. We've definitely covered this before. It's right on the Winooski, Colchester line. Just really quickly, for people who may have missed some of that coverage, just run us through what exactly this is and how it works.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
And thank you. So this is a massive project that they're building at Exit 16 in Colchester. And if you know sort of the on-ramp, off-ramp situation, it's Route 7 goes right through. There's several busy intersections there. There's Costco, there's Water Tower Hill, there's the gateway into Winooski, and then there's on-ramps and off-ramps. And for years, really, this has been a really critical point, a choke point for a lot of traffic. And if you go there, there's a lot of accidents. There's been safety issues for pedestrians, and there's really big backups where cars will sit in the middle of the intersection, and then a left turn lane out of
Right.
Costco can't get out. So it really is a very tricky situation. And so this idea that was floated over 10 years, maybe about 15 years ago, it was constructing something called the Diverging Diamond. There's about 125 of them nationally.
Yeah.
Every state, except for about 3 or 4 states, have these. And they are, well, I'm sure you'll pull up a picture of it, but
Yeah, I
they're
can pull
they're
it up
designed
afterwards
to
too.
make
Yeah.
traffic flow and increase safety. And there's certainly red lights, but it's engineered to be make traffic flow and be a lot safer. So,
Yeah.
and by and large, these do really they are very, very effective
Yeah.
in moving and mitigating traffic.
Yeah, and I think what part of this too, I have to kind of bring the history into it, where it's like, for years, we had the traffic project, the circumferential, if I'm saying that right, the Circ
Correct.
Highway project, right, and this has been long, delayed, it gets canned over a lot of environmental concerns, and that's led to funding for projects like this, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah. So there's a lot of history here, and this does go
yeah,
back to the Cirque, which, of course, when Chittenden County was booming back in still is, but in the 1940s and
yeah,
50s, there was a lot of growth that was happening. There was a real question about how are we going to move people in and around Chittenden County. So, like we've seen around other cities where there's like the highway that goes through, but there was a planned highway
yeah.
that would have gone, through
It's
Williston,
that
Essex,
small
Colchester.
section. It's where like Susie Wilson goes off by
Yep.
um, the Essex experience. Yeah, like
Exactly.
three
Yeah. So
exits
that was the
basically. Yeah,
one piece that was finished in the 90s,
yeah,
but there's still a large right of way that the state owns, state land, that they couldn't build on, and there was lots of, as you mentioned, lawsuits, appeals. It really was gummed up in the courts for many, many years. And it was in 2011, I believe, Governor Peter Shumlin said that the Cirque would not be moving forward as envisioned. And so there's been a number of these sort of side projects. This is one of them. The Champlain Parkway is another, which that's the story in itself, which also
yeah,
has faced legal challenges. But so there's several projects all across Chittenden County that are alternative projects to the Cirque, and this is one of those.
yeah. And eventually, I think when I first started, chatting here, it does kind of open the floor to, should project like this be able to, be appealed in a similar sense of a housing, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting because VTrans came in front of state lawmakers yesterday in the House Transportation Committee, and they were for the Diverging Diamond. This has been also gummed up in the courts. There's
yeah,
been adjacent landowners and business owners, environmental concerns. There's been a lot that's happened here. And one of the big questions from state lawmakers is how much money has all of these delays and appeals and lawsuits, how much has this cost taxpayers in the state of Vermont? VTrans didn't have an answer, but it really does raise questions whether we're talking about the Cirque or the Champlain Parkway or the Diverging Diamond, about should there potentially be guardrails or limits on who can challenge a project and when and where? as part of you mentioned housing. This session, there's language advancing in a bill that would
Yeah.
put more restrictions on when people can challenge Act 250 permits in court. You have to, be an adjacent landowner, a property owner, and have demonstrated a harm from that housing project. So they're looking at potential limits on appeals in the housing sector. There's some that have questioned whether this should be the same for
Yeah.
transportation, and some of these big transformational projects getting gummed up in the courts for years and years. And that's not to say, though, that there isn't a reason to challenge some of these projects. There's been environmental groups that do have serious policy concerns about things like phosphorus input into Lake Champlain. But that said, there isn't any language in any legislation this year moving forward about limits on appeals for transportation projects. But it's something that, Pat Brennan, who is a senator from Chittenden and Grand Isle, served on the transportation committee a long time. He was actually at that press conference
Yeah.
where Governor Shumlin said the CERC was not moving forward. He said this is something that's been on his radar for a long time.
No, and I think especially it's we see it as commuters like, hey, this will be gummed up. Hey, I want something to change, or hey, I'm going to be stuck in construction. But does come at a real cost, to your point, that we don't know how much those things are, and if taxpayers are paying for it, then that's that leaves a pretty substantial gap in what we what we could be paying for. So
Yeah, it
yeah.
is an interesting question, and whether we're talking about any of these major road projects that I just mentioned, it would be an interesting one to dig into with VTrans. I'm sure they
Yeah.
keep records of all of this, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
No, absolutely. I think I guess your work's not done yet, but I think the thing is too, especially this time of year. I mean, we all know it. Is construction season. I think I know in a lot of towns. I know with a State Street, Montpelier, Winooski, right next to where this diverging diamond stuff is right now. I mean, that's where all that traffic's diverted for Main Street construction. So we're just we're entering that time of year, is the best way I can put it. But yeah,
It
but
is. And I'll leave you on this, John. I mean,
yeah,
even some of the folks that I talked to yesterday, I pulled over one of the gas stations and I was talking to drivers. They admitted, like, yeah, the construction is going to be very tough, but once you can get through it, and once you get through the inconvenience and the delays of the construction, sometimes you have a really great product on your hands. I mean, I'm sitting here in downtown Waterbury,
yeah.
which, as you know, they went through a massive Main Street construction here as well, and it's vibrant, it's built up, the infrastructure. You've got safety measures for pedestrians. So by and large, I mean, there are very real policy and engineering and growth reasons for these projects, but the question is always, how do you get to the other side?
No, absolutely. Anyway, Calvin, thanks so much for hopping on again. Some good information there, and again, it's more of a history lesson if anything else with a lot of this stuff, but some good context for us. We'll throw that in just a sec, but thanks for hopping on.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, that was Calvin Cutler there, just talking about the Diverging Diamond Interchange Project. Again, a lot of information to kind of pack in as far as how we got here, how this funding works, etc. But some good things to know, especially not only as a commuter, but how this will kind of shake out.
See down here anyway, so hopefully it'll be for the better.
Emily Bullock made the drive from St. Albans to go shopping at Costco in Colchester. She's leery about the upcoming Diverging Diamond project, years in the making, aimed at alleviating snarled traffic at exit 16.
Hopefully it won't be too bad because Costco's doing their own constructions right now.
You do get a lot of backup. You got a lot of people blocking the intersection, and you just can't get through.
Others, like Eric Seelig, hopeful the Diverging Diamond will speed up traffic and make it safer for commuters.
You can see a lot of people honking and possible road rage going on, so hopefully it'll cut down on that as well.
The Cirque Highway as designed will not be built.
Over a decade ago, lengthy lawsuits from environmentalists forced leaders to scrap the circumferential highway, and the state moved ahead with other, smaller projects around Chittenden County to improve traffic flow. Since then, the Diverging Diamond has faced significant opposition of its own.
It is older than my youngest daughter. That's how I kind of gauge things. But I am happy to say that things are going to start coming to fruition.
As soon as July, VTrans will be launching Phase 2 of the Exit 16 project, $25 million in new roadways, sidewalks, signals, and more. Tuesday, VTrans officials laid out the project's lengthy court battles. From Act 250, stormwater, permitting, and federal environmental reviews, the diverging diamond has been tied up in the courts for years. We don't know how much the appeals and the delays have cost taxpayers. While legislators this session are considering limits on where and when people can challenge housing projects, some say the same should be considered for transportation projects.
As far as I'm concerned, there should be if there's not, and we have discussed it on occasion. It would have helped this project along.
VTrans is hoping to have the project wrapped up by the end of next year.
And that was our Calvin Collar reporting. And, well, John has stepped out here, and I'm here to deliver your, well, wonderful Wednesday forecast. Once again, blue skies and sunshine out there. As a matter of fact, here is the view on satellite and radar right now. Got nothing but a whole lot of sunshine here for a lot of us. Maybe a few fair weather clouds kind of down towards Bennington and Windham counties. But otherwise, a lot of us talking about a pretty nice start to our Wednesday morning. Temperature-wise, we're hanging out in the 50s and 60s out there. As a matter of fact, just a few degrees shy of that 70-degree mark for places like Burlington and Highgate already. And most of us are going to be talking these temperatures climbing back into the 70s and lower 80s here as we head towards this afternoon. Here's how the rest of the afternoon plays out. Maybe a spotty rain shower here and there, especially those higher terrain spots. But again, most of us should stay primarily dry here through the course of this second half of the day today. Overall, good deal of sunshine for most of us. Clouds really do begin to make their return here into the night tonight. Chance at a few on and off rain showers tonight as well as into your day tomorrow. It's scattered to isolated rain showers here for your day on Thursday. Here is the rainfall chances each and every day. Notice that we're dry today, maybe a little bit of rain tomorrow. Friday primarily dry. The bulk of any rain that we're seeing here over the next several days coming in once again here for the day on Saturday. That is as another coastal system sets up off to our south, bringing steadier rain here in place for the day on Saturday, right through Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. The good news is we're drier here into the day Sunday. Maybe a few leftover rain showers Sunday morning, but those rain showers tapering off into Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. Also looks like we get a little bit of sunshine going here into Sunday evening as well. Temperature-wise, well, we're cooler into the weekend. As a matter of fact, we're back down to low and mid-60s here for both Saturday and Sunday. So that means get out there and enjoy today. Most of us talking upper 70s and lower 80s here through the afternoon hours today. Again, tomorrow the rain showers start to make their arrival, a bit cooler as a result of that. Friday looking mainly dry. Temperature's probably going to be hanging out in the low to mid 70s, pretty close to where we should be for this time of year. Saturday, that's when we see the bulk of any rainfall here through the next several days. We're drier Sunday, probably a little bit of sunshine coming out through Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening in particular. But again, temperature still on the cooler side. More sunshine here as we head towards Monday and Tuesday of next week. And with that sunshine, that will help to warm us up a bit as well here as we head towards next week. Meteorologist Allison Black will join John McMahon, of course, for the Channel 3 News at noon. Be sure to join them then.